Hey, Mike here. I just wanted to let you know that you can listen to Dark Poutine early and ad-free on Amazon Music, included with Prime.
You're about to listen to a historical episode of Dark Poutine. After episode 149, you will find Scott is no longer with the show. In an effort to maintain continuity and offer listeners as many episodes as possible, we are leaving the episodes in which he co-hosted intact. Thank you. Welcome to Dark Poutine. I'm Mike Brown, creator and host. With me, as usual, is my good friend and co-host, Scott Hemingway. Say hello, Scott.
How about I say hello to everybody else? Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. It's lovely to speak to you.
Yeah, Scott's tired because he worked today. He has a job.
Back at work in the office, and so I had to been waking up at 2 on average most days.
In the afternoon. This is not 2 in the morning.
In the last couple of weeks, and all of a sudden it's 7 a.m. for me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, had me a nice little nappy new before I came over.
There you go.
Yeah.
The views, information, and opinions expressed during the Dark Poutine podcast are solely those of the producer and do not necessarily represent those of Curious Cast, its affiliate Global News, nor their parent company, Chorus Entertainment.
Dark Poutine is not for the faint of heart or squeamish. Listener discretion is strongly advised. We're not experts on the topics we present, nor are we journalists. We're two ordinary Canadians chatting about crime and the dark side of history. Let's get to it. Put on your toque, grab yourself a double-double and a Nanaimo bar. It's time to scarf down some Dark Poutine.
Chomp, chomp, chomp.
Listeners who feel they are in crisis can contact the crisis text line in Canada by texting HOME to 686868. In the US or the UK, text HOME to 741-741. You'll be matched with a volunteer counselor who is supervised by a licensed trained mental health professional. Crisis text line is free 24/7 support for those in crisis. For more information, please go to crisistextline.ca in Canada or crisistextline.org globally. Well, let's get on with the show.
Let's do that.
Early one morning in 1906, the bodies of two men were found on the trail on opposite sides of the small saloon and brothel called the 2 Mile House, north of Hazelton, British Columbia. 2 Mile House was on the way to the indigenous village of Kispiox. The men had been gunned down in separate incidents. Both had been shot in the back, and police believed the similar locations of their wounds and short time frame between the slayings indicated a single killer.
Well, damn.
Suspicion for the murders fell on local indigenous businessman who was called Simon Peter Gunanoot. As he and one of the men had a physical altercation only the day before, he was the number one suspect. Fearing that he would not get a fair trial, Simon Gunanoot and his brother-in-law, Peter Highmadam, also implicated in the murders, absconded into the wilderness.
So because they were implicated in this, let's head for the wilderness.
Let's head for the hills.
Yeah.
Their escape triggered the largest and most expensive manhunt in British Columbia's history.
Holy Christ, really?
Years later, after the tally was in, the search for the two men had cost the British Columbia government $50,000, which equals almost $2 million today. This is episode 126, The Legend of Simon Gunanoot.
Gunanoot.
Yes. So after feedback regarding a previous episode, we've replaced any racist language in the quotes that we use in this episode with more current terms.
There we go.
From an archived page on BritishColumbia.com, quote, situated amidst the majestic landscape dominated by the 3,000-foot walls of the rugged Rocher de Buell mountain range, Hazelton is a wonderful stop off the Yellowhead Highway for visitors traveling between Prince George and Prince Rupert.
So it's northerly.
Very much so.
Yeah,
it's actually
okay.
the northernmost tip of Highway 16, which is also the Highway of Tears.
Yeah. I don't know anything of Hazelton.
Yeah. Well, we're going to learn a little bit. Named after the hazel bushes which paint the river-carved terraces, the towns of Hazelton, New Hazelton, and South Hazelton are collectively known as the Hazeltons.
Well, there's a trio of Hazeltons.
And they are the totem pole capital of the world.
Whoa.
Emily Carr, the artist, went
yeah.
and painted the totem poles in the area.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
that sounds great.
You can see some of her paintings in the Vancouver Museum and those kind of things. The Hazelton area has nurtured Northwest Coast native cultures for over 7,000 years, with the Gitxsan Wet'suwet'en peoples always living there, where the Skeena River meets the Bulkley River. The Skeena River served as an ancient trade route navigated by 60-foot cedar canoes traveling from the coast upriver to totem-filled villages with magical names like Temlaham, Gittinmax, and Kispiox.
Sweet monkey balls. That's a huge boat. A huge canoe.
Yeah, 60-foot canoes, yeah.
A canoe at 60 feet. Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Insane.
We also mentioned Hazelton in another episode of Dark Poutine. It was episode 75, as it was here that the U.S. Air Force Nuke-laden B-36 crashed on Valentine's Day in 1950.
Okay, the broken arrow.
That's right. The man we know as Simon Peter Gunanoot was born in 1874 to the Gitxsan First Nation and was a member of the Kispiox Band. He was the son of 2 hereditary chiefs. His mother was a chief of the Fireweed clan, and his father was of the Frog clan. According to Pierre Burton's story about him in his book My Country, quote, his name originally Zump Min Hoot, heavily anglicized to make it pronounceable, meant the little bear that climbs trees.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's a kind of a cool name.
It's pretty adorable.
Right? According to the KispioxBand.com website, the community of Kispiox is one of 6 ancient Gitxsan communities which exist today in the area. Kispiox is estimated to be about 3,000 years old, having existed like several other villages since the time the population was dispersed from the ancient city of Texemalaxamid by a disaster. Archaeological and oral history evidence indicate that the Gitxsan occupied the valley of the Kasan or Skeena River following the last ice age about 10,000 years ago.
Wow. I don't know if you're aware, but disasters are not good.
Villages have been found and abandoned throughout Gitxsan history. Texemalaxamid was actually a utopian city, like a Garden of Eden, where people of the area once lived in peace, but legend has it that the disaster we talked about was caused by children tormenting a baby goat.
What?
They incurred the wrath of the mountain goat spirit, who summoned a great landslide that killed many people.
That's what you get for messing with a goat.
Yeah, don't mess with baby goats. You don't
don't.
want to upset this mountain goat spirit.
You really don't, because landslides.
But it's a good way to explain a landslide, I guess, in
Sure.
your lore.
Sure, yeah. I don't know. Maybe like I'm thinking like a more fierce and the wolf spirit.
The wolf spirit.
Yeah,
No,
you've angered the wolf
but
spirit.
they angered the baby goat spirit.
Yeah, it's a very adorable landslide must have happened.
Very, yeah. Killed a whole bunch of people. It wasn't adorable at all.
Adorably.
Prior to contact with Europeans, the Gitxsan peoples were an organized nation with a strong economy. Per the website Gitxsan.com, quote, the Gitxsan pre-contact economy was based on the trading of salmon, other natural resources, and products/goods derived from these resources. Lots of trading occurred along grease trails with neighboring coastal First Nations for the Ulichan, candlefish grease. The Gitxsan had a well-organized society pre-contact with political, social, legal, and economic institutions based on the Huilip house groups. Gitxsan institutions based on natural law, balanced lifestyle, respect, and obligation to the community, which governed pre-contact Gitxsan society, continue to be at work today. So,
Wow.
They still keep up some of their old practices
Sounds amazing.
of government.
Seriously, sounds amazing.
Since contact, the Gitxsan have always asserted ownership, jurisdiction over, and the right to self-government on Gitxsan territory. End quote. Before the Europeans came, sounds like things were going just honky-dory.
Yeah. And then we came along.
Yeah, and messed everything up pretty good. The Gitxsan territory covers an area of about 33,000 square kilometers, and that's about 5 times the size of PEI.
Holy shit, really?
Yep.
Wow.
Even as the Europeans first bullied their way into the area, greedily in search of gold and furs, the Gitxsan people continued to assert their rights to their territories. There was, and still often is, a lot of friction and mistrust between the groups, especially around the time that Gunanoot was born. In 1872, only 2 years before his birth, members of the Gitxsan Nation took action against the Europeans when, quote, the chiefs from the Gitxsan community of Gitsegulka blockaded the Skeena River to all trading and supply boats to protest the actions of the miners on their territories. Does that sound familiar?
It sounds incredibly familiar.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And this is 1872.
Yeah.
Various other protests and legal challenges have been mounted in the intervening years. Many of the members of the Kispioks, Simon Gunanoot's family included, were converted to Christianity by Catholic missionaries and encouraged to leave the old ways behind. Many began to adopt the white man's new ways, wearing suits and living in single-family shacks other than their communal homes.
Yeah.
But they maintained their connection to the land and their ancestors. Simon's father, Nagun, taught him how to trap and all he needed to know to survive in the bush alone. According to Pierre Burton's book, My Country, and the chapter on the search for Gunanoot, quote, in his childhood, he had hunted and trapped on his family's traditional preserve 100 miles to the east at Bear Lake. But as he grew older, he ranged farther afield, until he came to know a vast area, 10,000 square miles in size, as well as most men know their own neighborhoods.
It's a lot of square miles.
It really is.
I personally am more of a round mile kind of guy.
Okay, fair enough. At 21, he was a remarkable human specimen. 6 feet tall in his moccasins, 200 pounds, light as a cougar on his feet, and just as swift.
Wow.
With his Winchester 30-30, he was a dead shot. It was said that he had once killed a bear with a knife and that he could straighten out a horseshoe with his bare hands.
Now, if there's any ounce of truth to those, holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gunanoot, growing a mustache like a white man, inspired that kind of tale. End quote. Simon's mother disliked the idea of him not being educated as well. As the world was changing, so she sent him to a religious school where missionaries taught him. From the Williams Lake Tribune, at some point in his childhood, Simon was sent away to school at Port Simpson, a coastal settlement about 20 miles north of Prince Rupert. Missionaries from the Methodist Church operated a residential school there, and Simon received what was considered at the time a fairly good education. So, residential school.
Yeah.
Simon Peter Gunanoot was a hard-working hunter and trapper, and thanks to his schooling, he had a mind for business. If he didn't like the price being offered for his furs, he would tell the potential buyer to go shit in their hat and travel as far as necessary to earn whatever he felt his wares were worth. So,
Good, yeah.
he'd even gone so far afield as to go to Seattle to sell things.
shit.
And, oh, yeah.
But
Yep.
I mean, that's a man who's got confidence in his product
Absolutely.
and his worth.
Yep. Again from Pierre Burton's My Country, quote, he saved his money. In 1901, when he had enough to marry, he took his bride Sarah and their first baby to Vancouver to buy supplies. Gunanoot had decided to embark on a venture that, for an indigenous man, was unheard of. He planned to open a store in his village. He prospered. In the winter, the family closed the store and went trapping together. In the spring, they sold their pelts, bought more stock, increased their cash reserves. Gunanoot kept building up his equity. He bought a part interest in a sawmill, started a ranch on the Skeena, raised horses and cattle, a pillar of the community, until the world fell in on him, end quote.
Well, until that point, this man has more ambition in his toe than I have in my body.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So it sounded like he was a very talented guy who could walk both sides of the track, like he was able to operate in our capitalist cash society thanks to his knowledge of, his own way of life.
Culture and history.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
It's really great.
His competence in the way of his ancestors and modern education made Simon Gunanoot one of the most successful and respected men in the Gitxsan nation. There are also those, though, who envy the success of others. So Simon had a few people who resented him deeply for having what they couldn't seem to acquire on their own. The original and traditional name of the place where Gunanoot lived was Anslaw, loosely translated from Gitxsan language. This means the hiding place. From his ranch, he also ran a pack train supplying the gold prospectors in the region.
Shit.
So he was really enterprising.
Yeah.
On June 18th, 1906, Simon and his brother-in-law Peter Heimadam rode 10 kilometers to the nearby community Haguelet to get fish for their two families. On the way home that evening, they decided to stop in at the notorious tavern called the 2 Mile House. This type of place was not allowed within 2 miles of the growing God-fearing village of Hazelton, thus its name and location.
Okay.
According to Pierre Burton's book, the establishment was run by, quote, Jim the Geezer Cameron. He had founded the 2 Mile House to cater to the hard-drinking trappers, hunters, guides, and indigenous men. It did not matter to Cameron that the law forbade him to serve natives. He had 2 charges pending against him already for that offense and another for operating an illegal gambling house. But he felt no compunction about serving Simon Gunanoot and Peter Heimadam.
So shit, back then it was illegal to serve indigenous people?
Liquor, yeah.
Oh, wow.
In a white establishment, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow, okay.
The men sat drinking and playing cards late into the night. Gunanoot and Heimadam were feeling no pain. One man, also drinking in the tavern, was Alex McIntosh, a massively built dock worker and a laborer. He had just been released from jail that morning as was well known as a brawler. He had been told to leave town the next day and had promised to do so, securing a position as a laborer in a horse pack train headed north. McIntosh, upset that 2 prosperous, well-dressed indigenous men were drinking in a white man's bar, made comments about Gunanoot's wife, Sarah.
Oh, you don't do that.
Some reports claim that McIntosh told Simon he had, quote, become close to Sarah while Simon was off trapping earlier that summer. Gunanoot could not let the comments slide, and a fight broke out between the 2 men. McIntosh bested Simon thanks to his size, and Gunanoot was badly beaten up. He was said to have carried a long scar on the side of his face for the remainder of his life thanks to a slash from McIntosh's knife. Gunanoot got his licks in, though, breaking and bloodying one of McIntosh's fingers.
Well, great.
Gunanoot picked himself up off the floor, and he and Heimadam left the tavern. Witnesses said that they heard Gunanoot shout on his way out that he was going to come back and, quote, fix McIntosh. A few others claim they heard him mention he was going to get a gun.
Okay, so he's not... Phew, for a minute I thought he's going to... I'm just going to bring back some medical supplies.
And fix his
finger.
I'm going to... No, he's going to fix him.
What?
McIntosh was seen riding off around the same time that Gunanoot and Heimadam had left. McIntosh's foreman took one look at the man's badly damaged finger and told him he needed to get it repaired before the pack train left that morning. McIntosh rode off toward Hazelton, where the small hospital was, but he never made it there.
Okay.
Alex McIntosh's body was found on the trail just west of 2 Mile House at around 8 a.m. the next morning, near a planing mill. The man had been shot off his horse through the lower back in an ambush.
Oh, wow. Okay.
From a 1958 Maclean's magazine article, quote, John Boyd, a squat, dark indigenous man, coming into Hazelton for supplies, found the first body, that of Alec McIntosh. It lay face up, arms and legs extended, face swollen, and shirt stained with blood. A bullet had entered McIntosh's back about 2 inches to the right of the spine and emerged an inch below the collarbone.
Oh, shit. So, angled up.
Yeah, so it looked like the person was laying prone when they shot him. McIntosh had been shot through the heart and had died before his body hit the ground.
Damn.
His horse was grazing lazily near his body when it was found. Another body was found around the same time on the trail on the other side of 2 Mile House, heading to the east. This man was named Max Leclair. He'd been in camp with 2 Englishmen at Kispiox Crossing. He had told his campmates he was headed to Hazelton to get a horse, but he never made it there. Leclair's fatal injury almost matched McIntosh's to a T. He too had been shot through the back. Leclair apparently was unknown to Gunanoot, so the motive for his death was not clear. BC Provincial Police were on the scene for both shootings and thought that there was a madman on the loose. After hearing of the fight between Gunanoot and McIntosh, he was suspect number 1.
Yeah, understandably.
They did barely any initial investigation and didn't even bother collecting spent cartridges that were seen nearby.
Oh, so just going by the word of some people.
Yep.
Oh, that was great detective work.
A posse was struck and headed off to Anlaw, Simon's ranch, to arrest him. And we will take a break right here.
If you're looking for a smoking gun, I can absolutely guarantee you will not find it.
In October 2001, a series of letters filled with a deadly powder called anthrax were dropped into the U.S. mail system. What started as an unprecedented case turned into an unsettling mystery. Who sent these deadly letters? And why? From Campside Media and Sony Music Entertainment, I'm Josh Dean, and this is Cover Up Season 4, The Anthrax Threat. Available now.
Posses are always great.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless you're the one the posse is after.
Right.
Yeah. We don't have enough posses, although Sir Mix-a-Lot used to have a posse on Broadway.
He had a posse on Broadway.
Yep.
I don't think it's the same kind of posse.
No?
No, I think it's a
song.
very different kind of
It's a great song anyways.
posse.
I'm just saying. I think this one may include pitchforks and torches.
Well, it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very easily it could
Yeah.
include those things.
Yeah.
As the posse was about to reach Gunanoot's place, a group of 4 men related to McIntosh passed them, headed in the other direction. The men told police that he wasn't at home, but claimed that the man's rampage had continued on his own ranch. Sure enough, when the posse arrived at Gunanoot's, they found 4 of his horses and 2 of the man's dogs shot dead.
What the hell?
And there was no Gunanoot, no Gunanoot's wife, no Gunanoot's children, and his mother was gone, as were Hi Madam and his family.
So I guess maybe you take care of the animals because if you're fleeing, well, nobody else is getting my horses.
Maybe, but why wouldn't you just flee on your horse?
This is a great question.
Gunanoot's aging father was tossed in jail for aiding his son. From a Maclean's magazine 1958 story on Gunanoot, quote, knowing the close bonds between the two, it was thought that this would bring Gunanoot in to face his accusers. A boastful deputy, Windy Johnson, was put in charge of the jail. Wily old Nagun, allowed to exercise in a log stockade adjoining the jail, soon discovered that the outhouse, though entered from the inside, was built outside the walls. He also discovered that 2 of its wallboards were loose.
Oh, jeez.
On the 3rd evening, he escaped into the mountains. His jailer from then on was known as Silent Johnson. So Windy became silent.
Yeah, what? Windy is a great name for a guy who farts a lot.
A search party was made up of police and volunteers to go hunt for Gunanoot and Peter Hi Madam, who were now nowhere to be found. As their families were missing too, nobody had any idea where they had gone.
Well, in their mind, if he had just if they just shot and killed some people, who's to say they didn't shoot and kill their family as well? So I'm sure that would have been one of the concerns.
Sure. The searchers expected quite a trek, as Gunanoot was a master woodsman. A story in the July 23rd, 1906 Province newspaper.
Oh, my God.
It's been around for a long time.
My God.
It says, organized search. Government agency and party start on long trail at Hazelton. Hazelton, July 23rd.
I feel like I should be...
Exactly. There was probably a telegraph involved. John Fluin, government agent at Port Simpson, arrived here some days ago, and after completing the organization of a party to hunt down the indigenous murderer Simon Gunanoot and his brother-in-law Peter Hymadam, who is supposed to be identified with the crime. The party, consisting of 5 men in the charge of government agent Berryman from Aldermere, Bulkley Valley, took pack horses and provisions sufficient to last them till the fall, and started for Kishkigash, the indigenous village about 70 miles northeast of here, on the Bear Lake Trail where the fugitives were last heard of. The government raised the rewards for their arrest from $300 to $600.
Whoa. Those old newscasters, the people who would read the news like that, it always sounded like they've got somewhere else to be.
Yeah, right.
I'm in a rush. I've got to read the news to you, and then I've got to go and get my car.
I'm on fire. If the sighting was factual, the two had covered a lot of ground in just 4 days, especially with wives and children in tow.
Yeah.
And they had a massive head start on the searchers. 70 miles is a long ways away.
Yeah,
in those
when you're
days,
on foot, yeah.
And in the wilderness,
Yeah.
and wilderness that some white men have never, ever seen.
Yeah.
The search would go on longer than they had anticipated, much longer. The wilderness in the area that Gunanoot was familiar with, as yet unseen by European eyes, was so vast that you could hide Nova Scotia, PEI, and the island of Newfoundland there.
Shit.
The 2 men and their families might almost be impossible to find.
Yeah.
I mean, if Bigfoot is there, and we haven't found that.
Would it be Bigfoot or the Yeti in that region?
Oh, it would be Bigfoot.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm thinking winter, cold.
It's not that far north.
Oh.
It's north, but not that far.
Oh, it's not Antarctica?
No. Antarctica's south.
Oh, they moved it?
The next report in the province came on September 29th, 1906, a full 2 months after the double murder.
Holy crackers.
It would appear that the posse after Gunanoot and Hymadam thought they were close. The headline read, "May capture murderer." The fugitives have been seen crossing Bear Lake with 4,000 pounds of provisions.
Holy shit.
Most likely on the way to Gunanoot's family hunting ground near the headwaters of the Peace and Laird rivers. The searchers were lugging 1,200 pounds of their own supplies and planned to set up headquarters in the area so they could comb it.
So they're basically bringing a town with them.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, there's only 5 searchers, but 1,200 pounds for 5 searchers.
Oh, my God.
Gunanoot and Peter Hymadam had 4,000 pounds, 2 tons worth of stuff.
My God.
Yep. A report came on November 6th that Gunanoot had somehow doubled back over his tracks and was making his way back toward Hazelton. So, you guys go that way, I'm going to go this way. The man who was quickly becoming a living legend had come to the indigenous village of Kitsagas, where he asked for food and medicine, claiming his wife was ill. The people in the village gave him what he asked for, and he disappeared back into the bush. In early 1907, the reward had grown to $500 for each man.
Well,
so
now.
people are getting angry.
Yeah.
Over the next year and a half, there were sightings of Gunanoot in various places around northern British Columbia. But by the time BC police constables showed up, he and his crew were long gone, if they had ever been there at all. They suspected that many of Gunanoot's friends knew exactly where he was, but no one was willing to turn him in.
So it's been going on for a year and a half?
So far.
I mean, at what point do you go, well, we tried?
Well, we'll get to that.
Wow.
The search in the remote area was costing the government thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
The search party was running low on supplies, and it was way too expensive to keep resupplying them.
Yeah.
So in February of 1908, a year and a half after it had all begun, the posse returned south empty-handed.
Yeah. I mean...
But they weren't done.
Oh.
As reports of sightings of Gunanoot and his band continued to make their way to authorities, another plan was hatched to capture him. Over the years 1909 and 1910, 2 operatives from the Pinkertons were called in by the BC government to search the north for Gunanoot. From the Encyclopedia Britannica, quote, Pinkerton National Detective Agency was an American independent police force that was founded in 1850 by Alan Pinkerton, 1819 to 84, former deputy sheriff of Cook County, Illinois. It originally specialized in railway theft cases, protecting trains, and apprehending train robbers. It solved the $700,000 Adams Express Company theft in 1866, and in 1861 it thwarted an assassination plot against President-elect Abraham Lincoln, end quote. So they were super famous.
No
the Pinkertons
kidding.
were really, you'll see them in,
Yeah, I've heard them referenced and talked about, but I didn't know they were an independent police force.
Yeah.
Wow.
At the time, these guys were the heavy hitters in the world of crime fighting.
Yeah, equivalent, I guess, to now calling in the FBI.
Something like that, yeah. From David Ricardo Williams' book, Call in Pinkertons. Quote, on arrival in Vancouver, they outfitted themselves, broad-brimmed hats, thick wool shirts, and Mackinaw jackets, heavy underwear and trousers, stout high-laced boots, as well as a tent, mosquito netting, picks, shovels, billy cans, and most important, perhaps, guns and ammunition, for they would have to live off the land as they traveled, end quote.
Damn.
So these guys were prepared.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm good. I'm good. Send Peter up. He loves this kind of stuff.
So kitted out, the 2 Pinkertons agents headed north to begin their search. Their efforts, too, were thwarted at every step. Just when they thought they were hot on Gunanoot's trail, he would slip away. They were not getting any help from the indigenous people in the area, who resented the 2 brash Americans, even driving their horses away at one point, and then telling them they had to pay for them to go look for them.
Sweet.
The Pinkertons gave up their search in February 1910, returning to Hazelton in poor weather. Bon, bon.
Wow. Talk about elusive.
The official search ended there.
Yeah.
For 9 more years, sightings continued, but Gunanoot remained a free man. The stories about him grew more and more fantastic. From Monty Bassett's essay, Chasing Shadows, quote, there are many stories that Gunanoot not only did all that was attributed to him, but that he had supernatural powers.
Oh, yeah.
For example, he could deflect bullets just with his will, making them curve away from his body.
Wow.
He could become invisible and pass through his pursuers' camps unseen.
Makes sense.
His dogs trained to never make a sound or leave a track.
Whoa.
Can
The
you
floating
imagine?
dogs.
Yeah.
Clearly. Wow.
Dogs in little hovercraft.
Special boots.
Special little doggy boots.
It's incredible. I think that's all accurate.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be accurate. There's no way that that's just a story.
No. I'm sure bullets coming. He's matrixing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fact.
From the Williams Lake Tribune, quote, the First World War came and went. Automobiles arrived in Hazelton. A railway line was established to Prince Rupert, and the population of the area doubled. Gunanoot and his family group not only survived, but they prospered. He continued to trap and trade. During his years on the run, he amassed a fortune estimated to be around $75,000.
While on the run.
Wow. However, it was a hard life. By 1919, Simon was 44 years old. 2 more children had been born and baptized, and he wanted all his children to be educated, end quote. That's right. Gunanoot gave himself up and came in to face the music.
Wow.
After 13 years.
Wow. I can imagine that being a very hard life.
Right?
Isolation.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is like, I mean, we've done isolation for 3 months and we're just going bonkers.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was alone though when he turned himself in because Peter Hymanum had died in 1910 while on the run. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Back at Hazelton, Chief Constable Kelly was waiting at his desk for Gunanoot's arrival. He had heard he was turning himself in. Simon walked in, cool as a cucumber, and said, "I am Simon Gunanoot. I've come to turn myself in." Kelly had never been face-to-face with the accused murderer before, so he didn't know what to expect.
Yep.
Kelly's eyes flicked to 3 rifles in a gun rack on the wall near where Gunanoot stood. Simon took note of the man's nervousness and said, "Don't be afraid of me. You never saw me before, but I know you, and I could have shot you many times out on the trail."
Oh, my God. Oh, shit.
According to Maclean's magazine, Simon Gunanoot was, quote, remanded to a higher court. He was taken south to Vancouver and lodged in Ocala prison until October 7th, 1909, when his trial for the murder of Alex McIntosh was set to begin. Gunanoot pled not guilty to the charges against him. Gunanoot's trial would be for the murder of Alex McIntosh alone, as the evidence linking him to Max Leclair's murder was much, much weaker. Simon was represented at trial by a well-known lawyer, Stuart Henderson, who had helped to broker the surrender. The Crown's case against Gunanoot was circumstantial at best and was delivered in a day and a half.
Shit.
He was described as grim and expressionless as he sat in the prisoner's box to hear the evidence against him. The story of the fight was told and the discovery of the body of McIntosh. The lack of gathered evidence at the crime scene and the fact that they had no witnesses or murder weapon created some major holes in the Crown's case.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally... we heard that you had a fight.
Well, they did have a couple of hearsay witnesses who said that Gunanoot had, quote, admitted to the killing.
Yeah.
But, his lawyer picked that apart.
Yeah.
A witness for the defense was a young boy who at the time of the shooting had seen both Gunanoot and McIntosh as they left the 2 Mile House early that morning, both riding in different directions. So Gunanoot did not follow him. Also, Simon's lawyer pointed out Alex McIntosh was not well liked. There were a number of folks around Hazelton who would have rather seen him dead than alive.
He didn't seem like a decent fella.
No. The fight that he and Gunanoot had that night gave someone the perfect cover to commit a murder, knowing it would be pinned on an indigenous man. There had been no physical evidence tying Gunanoot to the crime at all.
Yeah.
Henderson called the policeman involved stupid.
I mean...
Yeah. He said that they had their sights set on Simon right from the beginning with no other leads pursued.
It does seem like that.
And that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Henderson also brought up the question, why would Simon shoot his own dogs and horses?
Yeah.
Perhaps it was the McIntosh boys who had just been to Simon's ranch on a vigilante mission.
Oh, okay.
And they were the catalyst that had scared him into fleeing.
That would do it. Somebody comes onto your property and starts shooting up your animals.
You're going to beat it.
You're going to say, well, this isn't going to bode well.
Yeah. The jury left the courtroom for 15 minutes.
Oh, my God.
At 4:30 in the afternoon on October 9th, 1919, they returned with a verdict. Guess what the verdict was, Scott?
Oh, guilty.
It was not guilty.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought for sure indigenous individual.
Yeah.
This is just
That's what I thought.
Formality. Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
There was more good news the next day. From an article in the Province on October 10th, 1919, quote, when court opened the next day, Mr. Justice Gregory said the charge against Gunanoot was not going to be proceeded with in the case of Max Leclair.
Yeah, you said they have less evidence and everything, so yeah.
The judge said the evidence is not as strong as in the other case, and I am instructed by the Attorney General to enter a stay of proceedings. I am not surprised. In view of the other case, it would seem hopeless to proceed. And then he said, prisoner, stand up. You will be under a certain amount of suspicion, but so far as the court is concerned, you are a free man. Now go away and be a good man. End quote.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Good
interesting.
old Gunanoot.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice ending to this story for him to go free because...
I mean...
There was never anybody else charged.
Yeah,
but...
a potential murderer was set free. But he wasn't convicted. He was found not guilty. And plausibly, somebody else did it.
Yeah.
And I kind of like this guy.
Right? There are differing opinions on who done it.
For sure.
Some say he did.
Yeah.
Others say, no way. And then there are other things, that rumor that Peter Heimadam's wife actually admitted on her deathbed it was her who had killed them for some reason because they had been interfering with her. So maybe there was some actual truth to what was going on.
Interesting. Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? That could all be just rumor and speculation as well. I mean, the case is over 100 years old, so like the truth does tend to become obfuscated over the years.
Days.
Yeah, right.
Days.
Oh, right now.
Yeah.
Right now, if one side says something and then the other side says something, you're never sure what the truth is.
No.
Yeah.
You get throw 100
Guess
years
what?
into
Everybody's
the mix.
lying.
Yeah. At least now you can kind of go and do a bit of your own digging, and there's probably going to be video footage, and you can
Something.
make back then, though, it's like, no, it's just what people said.
Yeah.
And so, like,
Yeah, well, somebody said that he said it,
yeah.
that he did it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Then there you go. Let's hang him.
Yeah.
Crazy. Reporters asked Simon to explain why he ran away. Gunanoot told them that after the fight at the roadhouse the night before, his face was swollen and he was embarrassed. He didn't want anybody to see him until he healed up. He was near his house when he heard the McIntosh boys come into the yard and shoot the dogs and horses. So, to be safe, he took off. He was on the trail away from the house when he found a pair of women's moccasins in the mud. He caught up to his wife and mother, who had run away before in fear of their own lives, because they were right there at the ranch when these kids came in to shoot the place up. Gunanoot told reporters he was never actually very far from Hazelton most of the time. People had known where he was and warned him when the police were in the area. And when he saw searchers himself, he would, as he put it, skidoo.
Wow.
He made it seem like it was easy to stay hidden with his entire family for 13 years. Maybe it was for him.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Holy shit.
So he returned home to his land.
Wow.
On Monday, January 22nd, 1934, the province newspaper reported that Simon Gunanoot had died of influenza while trapping north of Bowser Lake. The historicplaces.ca website says, upon his death in 1933, Simon Gunanoot was buried on a height of land overlooking Bowser Lake, a place known as Graveyard Point.
Yeesh.
The site is valued for its historical and cultural significance as a reminder of the struggles of First Nations on their own lands in their relationship with non-Aboriginals and non-Aboriginal laws. It represents the collision of old and new cultures and the attempt of First Nations to live in both worlds at a time when a First Nations person accused of a crime was almost guaranteed to be presumed guilty.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like I was saying, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen.
The site was deliberately chosen to be south-facing and protected, yet difficult to access. It is a reminder of the dichotomy between the vastness and harsh nature of the country into which Gunanoot disappeared with his family and the familiarity Gunanoot had with the area as he followed a traditional way of life. The location is significant for its aesthetic setting and as a place where Simon spent much of his time, end quote. And his father is buried there too. I'd kind of like to visit that area someday.
It sounds
Mystical.
Yeah, sounds mystical. Yeah.
Yeah, it does sound kind of mystical.
Yeah.
But it's also 14 hours away by car.
Whew, shit.
You could fly to Prince George, maybe, and then drive another 4 hours.
If you're going to drive, just drive.
Yeah.
Just drive it.
Fair enough. And that's it for this week's case, The Legend of Simon Gunanoot.
Well, I quite enjoyed that one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
There's murder, there's mayhem, there's weirdness, and
bullet dodging.
and the right guy gets away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
He was like a God-fearing Christian man. He was not a violent person ever. Anybody who knew him said this was not something that he would have ever done.
Yeah.
Although, to insult somebody's wife in that way, in that culture, it was a very, very offensive thing.
And then to get into a fight with said person and lose to said person, and especially if some wobbly pops were involved.
Exactly.
And you were a bit sauced. I mean.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, it's lost to history now, and nobody else was ever charged, like I say, with the crime. So
Yeah.
It's an interesting story.
It is. I mean, I can't say, I don't want to say that, he was obviously innocent. Who knows? But a fascinating and really interesting tale. And I really, aside from the murder, I really liked the cut of that guy's jib.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we don't know if he did it.
Well, no, I'm saying I'm just saying, like, murder aside, if that wasn't involved, I really liked this guy. Like, he was really...
he was an interesting cat.
Yeah.
Like, the whole idea that he was a respected businessman in European culture, as well as...
in the 1800s,
and he would be a hereditary chief himself because his parents both were. So...
yeah.
Very fascinating.
Very fascinating.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Huh, says Scott. Well, how about them apples?
Yeah, that's a gooder.
Well, I guess it's time for voicemails.
Oh, I gotta... it's impossible to not bring up, like, a guy accused of shooting somebody. His name has gun in it.
Right.
That's just...
It also had Newt in it.
Yeah, Gunanoot. But I just think that's great.
Yeah.
They probably were like, who did it? And they're like, does anybody have gun in their name?
That could have been it.
That's who, definitely, if gun is in their name, they did it.
Yeah. But that Gunanoot was the anglicized version of his name, so
it was a setup.
Oh boy. By the Europeans.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, let's do the voicemail thing.
Yeah.
If you want to leave us a voicemail, you can at 1-877-327-5786 or 1-877-DARK-PTN. That's 1-877...
Dark Putin.
Yeah, that's right. And if your voicemail stands out, you might hear it on the show. Or if it's the only one that we got this week...
it might also make it on the show.
It might also make it on the show. So, for some reason, people don't like to call a toll-free line and leave a message because...
not this week, they don't.
Not this week. We only got a message.
Yeah.
A single one.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to play it.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers
you
crossed.
guys suck. I hate
Fingers
your
crossed.
show.
You guys are terrible.
Well, thanks for taking the time, though.
Please stop. Don't do it ever again. Oh, it's only 23 seconds long.
Wow.
Oh, well. Let's hear it.
Hey, Mike and Scott. My name is Beck. Your show is pretty interesting. I was just curious if maybe you could do an episode on some Canadian military crime or something. That would really pique my interest. So, yeah, you guys have a good one. Eh?
Well, thanks, Beck.
Yeah.
I think that is actually a really good idea. Yeah. I have been kind of looking at the Russell Williams case again.
It's one of the ones that I am so fascinated with, always have been, just because of his stature.
You know, Alan Warren talked to that guy.
Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What did he have to say about
Crazy.
that? Yeah.
He's really crazy.
But I mean, like, the guy met the Queen. His position was a very, very lofty position. And so, like, talk about double life. Like, it doesn't get much more double than that. And so I've always been fascinated by, and then like his confession.
Yeah. Well, that might be coming, Beck. So hang on. Who knows?
Yeah.
I have a feeling it will be this summer at some point.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Well, you got to do it sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's not like it's one that's very well known in Canada, but
which is why we haven't done it. We sort of try to stay off the beaten path and do things a little left of center or right of center or whatever, off center. But yeah, every once in a while we do have to cover those ones that have been covered to death. Yeah.
Well, but in Canada, I don't think it's been covered to death in the States. I know a lot.
Oh, it has,
has it?
Yeah,
like I don't think people in Europe and whatnot are going to be very familiar.
But you know who hasn't covered it? Dark Poutine.
Yeah.
Right. So if Dark Poutine does it, it's going to be a little different.
Damn Skippy.
It always is.
All right. Thanks, voicemail.
Yeah. Thanks for the single voicemail this week. Watch next week we'll get 10 because people. But
guaranteed.
We'll play the interesting ones.
Yeah.
Like really make them interesting.
Yeah.
If you do a fake voice or something, or make up a little story, whatever. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
So this is your challenge. We are challenging you to do something. Hello, this is Werner Herzog. I'm calling to say I really love Dark Poutine.
Oh my God.
It is a wonderful show, and it makes me wonder, as I stare into the abyss, why on earth you boys don't have more money and your own television show?
This is Werner number 2. I agree.
So it's Werner's clone over there. Anyway.
Could you imagine? Okay, if you're like a celebrity and you're listening,
please
call and leave us a voicemail. Oh my God. We would just do cartwheels around this.
If you're not a celebrity and you're listening, please call us.
Oh, absolutely. Could you just imagine though, like we listen one time
or pretend you're a celebrity.
It's like, hey, this is Brad Pitt or something. You're like, wait a minute, what?
Yep.
It's toll free. I mean,
well, who knows? Ryan Reynolds might listen because he's very Canadian.
Ryan.
Deadpool.
Ryan Gosling.
Scott's in love with Ryan Gosling.
He's dreamy. Ryan Gosling. Leave me. Hey, people, Twitter storm Ryan Gosling. Get him to send me a voicemail.
Is Ryan Gosling like your, if you did it once, your guy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, twice even.
Oh.
If I did it twice, yeah. Oh, Ryan Gosling's dreamy as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. So, yeah, people.
Yeah, he's a good-looking man.
Blow up Gosling's Twitter and get him to leave us a voicemail.
There you go.
Because I'd get all the...
Scott would be all the Twitter himself.
Yeah.
He'd be a little Twitter-pated.
Probably get the vapors.
Oh, isn't that gas?
I don't know. Well, I always have that then.
You always have gas?
Yeah, well, I guess I've always got the vapors are constant in my life then.
Well, they are. I've been at your house where the vapors quite extensively are
vaporizing
bashed
the room.
about.
Yeah,
it's really terrible.
Yeah,
it smells like what was it that we saw? Carol and I saw in a movie, and she can't stop saying it now. It says your farts smell like a dumpster behind a Hungarian restaurant.
Yeah, I take pride in my. This is gonna gross out most of the people listening.
Oh.
It should gross you all out, but probably most. I did one time. I woke up my wife.
Oh no!
She was in a deep sleep, out cold.
She is very hard done by.
I woke her up like I didn't jostle her. She woke up just by the smell of a fart alone.
Well, that happened at our house when we used to have a dog. Our dog woke us up with a fart.
Yeah.
With a fart.
Yeah. I took a lot of pride in that. Like it was silent. Like there was no sound. It was the smell was so bad. She woke up.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anybody who maybe thought kind, loving thoughts of me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that's kind of gone now.
Well, look at that. It's time for some Patreon shout-outs.
What?
People are still Patreoning us.
Well, that's good.
They are becoming patrons.
Patronizing us.
They are patronizing us. Amanda Myers from Springfield, Missouri. How about that? Thank you, Amanda.
Springfield.
Yeah. What does Amanda do there? Does she work at the nuclear plant in Springfield?
No. Mm-hmm. She works at the water refinery.
Oh, she refines water.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. She gives it a good education.
Yeah, there you go.
Teaches it good manners. Here's how you set up forks properly on a table.
Wow.
Don't arc your back while sitting. Elbows off the table.
Wow.
Yeah.
Next we have Erin Buck, and she is from Seattle, Washington.
Oh.
What does she do in Seattle? Does she work at Pike's Market and throw fish?
No, she has the less glamorous job there.
Oh.
Yeah, she catches the fish.
Well, that looks pretty glamorous, too. Have you seen it done?
No.
They throw like a giant fish, and then the guy who catches it wraps it up and gives it to the person.
No, I don't know, Mike.
What?
Like fishing rod catches the fish. Ugh.
No.
That's what she does.
Oh, she catches fish with...
catches.
Oh.
Yeah, no, not the Pike Place fish catcher.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that'd be pretty... I don't know if that would be a good gig or not.
It could be.
They're good at it. It's fun to go and watch them toss the fish about. But no, she heads out in a rowboat.
There you go.
And casts a reel. And hope she catches a big old salmon.
Okay.
That's her job.
There you go.
Yeah. People do it for free sometimes. She gets paid.
So we had somebody upgrade their patronage.
Oh.
Laura Jane Hoshino from
Wait a minute.
Tokyo, Japan.
Wait a minute.
Arigato.
Laura.
Arigato.
I know Laura.
We both do.
Yeah, she's super nice.
What does she do for work?
She is an English teacher. Well, she was. I think now she's teaching. Oh God.
Oh, you're giving her the real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she was supposed to start, but then the pandemic
the
kicked
COVID
in.
kicked in.
Was like teaching singing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Next we have France André Lefebvre, and she is from Laval, Quebec.
Oh, well, that sounds right.
Yeah. And I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I really apologize.
It happens, though.
What does she do in Laval?
Oh, well, unlike last week when we had the syrup and the snow, and somebody did tell me what that actually is called.
What is it called?
I couldn't pronounce it.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't pronounce
Fair
it.
enough.
It's not. She does not do that. That is not her job.
What does she do?
In Quebec? She, get ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It's going to be very topical.
I'm so ready.
She makes poutine.
Wow.
Yep. She has a poutineery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she has a poutineery. Very authentic, French Canadian.
Well, she is French Canadian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's very authentic. I've had some.
Oh.
Yeah, she says she'll ship it over.
Oh, it won't taste very good when it gets.
No, she has a special poutine
preservative
encapsulator.
Oh, okay.
To keep it fresh.
That's a lot.
And sends it over. And I thought she would have sent you some.
No, she didn't offer me any.
Weird. She probably thought I was Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. Something tells me that she did not.
Yeah. So I mean, how topical?
How topical
that
is that?
A poutine creator supports dark poutine.
Well, yeah. I'm sure there's at least one.
There better be, goddammit. Everything we've done is in vain.
There has to be.
There has to be.
Yeah.
Like even if you work at Burger King and you make the poutine there, it counts.
Yeah, it does. Next we have Cecilia Fraser.
Oh.
And I don't know where she's from.
Oh, Bangkok.
Oh, she's from Bangkok.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell by the name.
Cecilia Fraser is from Bangkok.
Yeah.
And what does she do?
It's a very common name in Bangkok.
What does she do in Thailand?
Oh, she doesn't do Muay Thai.
Oh.
She doesn't do Muay Thai.
She is Muay Thai.
She is. No, have you seen, when they have to kick the trees?
Oh, gosh.
To toughen up their shins?
Yeah, that looks brutal.
Yeah, she's the tree shaper to make it more well-shaped for kicking.
They pretty much kick any old tree.
No, I know, but not like the actual, but they have like, wooden, like you carve it down.
Like a fake tree.
Yeah. Well, no, it's like they take it, it's real wood, Mike. It's from a real tree.
It was previously a tree.
It was previously a tree. And then they cut it and shape it. And so when you're training, you can enjoy some good old tree kicking.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, not if you're the tree, but
enjoy your tree kicking there in Bangkok, Cecilia Fraser.
Yeah, if you've kicked any of her trees, let us know. Drop us a line. Tell us.
Tell us in a voicemail about kicking Cecilia's trees.
Let's give her work some praise. You tell us. Give us a live review of her work.
Okay. Next we have Brooke Tang, and she is from Lavon, Texas.
Oh. Yeah.
What does Brooke Tang do in Lavon, Texas? Oh, is she one of the Tang family?
No.
No? What?
Unless you mean like the actual drink Tang.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay. I thought maybe there was some Tang family I'm unaware of, like some famous.
No, I mean.
the Tangs, the Texas Tangs.
Yeah, the Texas drink Tang.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what she does.
Astronauts drink Tang.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
So she is like the heiress to the Tang fortune.
Yeah. She doesn't actually have to work because she got the Tang money.
Well, that's probably why Brooke's helping us out, because she's got that Tang money.
Throwing around some of that Tang money. Yeah. And so she's just living a good life. A lot of charitable work.
Good.
Like supporting dark poutine.
That's very charitable.
Yes. Yeah. So she's living in Texas on Texas Lake.
There you go. Texas Lake.
Texas Lake in Texas.
Boy, you're pulling these ones out.
Oh, no. Facts.
Next, we have Andrea Gaweiler, and she is from Kitchener, Ontario.
Oh.
And what does she do in Kitchener? What do you think is going on there?
Oh, she makes linoleum flooring. Yeah.
Is it specific colors, or is it just all straight up?
It is specific colors.
Oh.
Yeah. She makes rainbow linoleum flooring.
Boy.
I know.
It's like Pride linoleum.
It really is.
Wow.
It really is. It's
somebody had to break into the market with that particular product.
Yeah. I mean,
good for you, Andrea.
Should you drop some food, good luck finding it, because it's just going to blend in.
And don't ever do LSD in your house.
Oh, no, do it. Do it on that
floor. Because your floor would look like it's like moving all over the place.
You would think you're floating on a rainbow.
No, it would be terrible.
No, it'd be great. And so, she's pioneered that manner of linoleum.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, Cheryl Lyon has upped her pledge.
Oh.
I don't know where she's from, though.
You don't know where Cheryl Lyon is from?
Nope.
Anchorage,
Alaska.
Oh. That's the one. You know it.
I have heard of it.
Oh, good. Yeah,
right?
She's from Anchorage, Alaska.
And what does she do in Anchorage? Does she build anchors or?
You got it. Nailed it, Mike.
Wow! For the first time ever on the show,
Home run.
Nailed it.
Home run. So out of the park.
So she creates anchors in Anchorage.
Yeah. You would think that they're like iron forged or more like a gigantic.
Is it like in a weird epoxy resin?
No.
See, I didn't get that.
No,
right.
she whittles the metal. Yeah, you don't think people whittle metal.
They don't.
No, but she hand carves.
Oh,
yeah. These. She started with the reason why she hand carves metal was she started with wood.
Yeah.
She thought she'd break into the wood
carving
wood anchors.
Yeah, but they tend to float.
Yeah, they just floated.
They're not very useful.
And so she took that skill of whittling and translated it to metal.
She must have very strong arms.
Oh my God, you have no idea.
She got some guns.
If she hits you, oh man, you're out.
Well, thanks, Cheryl.
Yeah, thank you.
Next we have B, as in B-E-E.
Oh,
Reed.
B. Reed.
B. Reed.
If you insist, I will.
And I don't know where B is from. The
B.
hive of some sort of hive.
Yep.
And let me guess. She is a honeybee.
She's not a honeybee,
No?
Mike. That's ridiculous. No, she's actually from Esquimalt.
Oh.
Yeah, in BC.
Oh,
It's on
okay.
the island. It's out by Tofino.
But what does she do?
She is a weather...
Vane. A human weather vane.
well, no, a weather... I don't know how they announce her. So if it's raining...
They used to call them a weather girl or a
well,
weather
no,
man
because it's like she's like...
That's antiquated language.
Yeah,
so.
she would like...
She would be a meteorologist.
She would go... No, she goes outside.
Oh.
If it's raining...
She just says...
It's raining!
Oh.
Yeah, and it's sunny!
Oh, wow.
So she yells it to the community.
Like people really can't figure that out for themselves.
Well, I mean, your curtains are closed, you're chilling at home, you're thinking, I wonder what the weather's like. You hear...
Don't want to go out in case you catch the COVID.
It's a bit chilly today!
Oh, well, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thanks, B.
Thank you, B. Thank you.
For yelling about the weather.
Yeah.
There in Esquimalt.
Yeah. Kind of like that guy who's in the East Coast there who's got it's going to rain!
Oh, it's Frankie McDonald.
It's kind of like that.
I love
But
Frankie McDonald.
without the YouTube.
Yeah.
Just yelling it.
I think he's fantastic.
Oh,
that's pretty much what he does. He yells.
Yeah.
He's great, though.
Oh, he's incredible.
And lastly, as far as Patreon goes, we have Priya Ramnath from Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah. Wow. I would love to go to Dublin.
So what does Priya do in Dublin?
Priya?
I think I need to have a little poo.
Oh. Oh, interesting. Okay,
You've seen the IT crowd, right? Oh.
Not all of it. But Priya, get this.
Go ahead.
She makes Priuses.
So Priuses are made in Ireland?
They are.
I thought they were Japanese.
Well, it's a fine line.
Japanese, Irish,
It's
same
a
thing.
Potato. Get it? Because potatoes and Irish. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
No, it was hilarious.
No, that's about the troubles.
No, that's hilarious.
The potato famine is funny?
Yeah, well,
not really.
potatoes.
Too soon.
So I hear. So she makes Priuses there.
Oh.
Yeah, Priya makes Priuses.
Well,
It just seemed like it was kismet, you know?
Thank you for making Priuses and then sharing some of your money with us.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We got some of that Prius money.
We got that Prius money. Oh, boy. Yeah, so we did get some donut money.
Oh, did we now?
And it was from Jennifer Guidry.
Okay.
She's been around for quite some time as far as supporting our show.
Has she?
She definitely has. We see her in the Umber Yard and all that kind of stuff. And the message from Jennifer is, "Hello, gents. Here's some donut money. Sorry it has been so long.
Oh, no.
I'm on furlough and have really enjoyed listening while I piddle around the house."
Whoa. She's peeing around the house?
I don't think that's what she means.
I don't think so either.
But that my dad used to call having a pee having a piddle.
Yeah.
So
it would be
make
like,
sure you piddle before you get in the car.
I would say like my dog piddled in the house, left a little, some
So while Jennifer, where is this house that Jennifer piddles around in?
Bratzik.
Bratzik? Where's that?
It's in Russia.
Oh, it's in Russia.
Of course.
And what does she do whilst piddling?
Oh, she makes it's Russia, so
Nesting dolls?
no, they have her she works in a mine.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's well-paying job,
Poor Jennifer.
but it's really hard labor.
it is hard
It's
labor.
really hard labor and dirty.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Your hands get really sore from pickaxing all day.
I can see
I
it.
think that's what they do in mines.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much to our patrons, past and present, for your pledges. Thank you so much, Donut Money donators. We really appreciate your support of the show. If you want to help support us, you can do so at patreon.com/darkpoutine. Or for one-time support, you can send us donut money via PayPal at our email address, darkpoutinepodcast@gmail.com. Now, we did have somebody send us a little bit of an interact transfer.
We did.
Legsy Charlton.
Oh.
Yeah. So where does Legsy live again?
Well, Legsy lives in I'm trying to remember. I'm not pulling up my phone.
No.
I'm trying to remember.
That would be cheating if you do.
And that's not. Oh yeah. She's from Pyongyang.
Oh, Pyongyang.
Yeah, North Korea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is she? Does she work for Kim Jong-un in some way?
Well,
is she the one who tells him that he's actually a pretty good guy?
She can't really talk about what she does because it's North Korea. Her and her family will probably be killed. But I'll tell you.
Okay, what?
She's a subway train operator.
Well, that's not very exciting.
They actually, it's one of the only modes of transportation for most people there, Mike.
Still.
And they oddly put a lot of money into their subway system, and so, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah. So she's a subway train operator.
Well, good for you, Legsy.
Yeah. I hope I didn't just get her killed.
Well,
by talking about it.
Yeah, it could be terrible.
Yeah.
But thank you again. It means a lot that you want to support the show, and she's always been big supporter of ours.
A gooder egg. Gooder of the gooderest.
She is one of the goodest eggs.
Yep.
If you don't already, it would mean a lot to us if you subscribe to the show. You can easily find us on iTunes Podcast, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, where we don't have $100 million.
I was just going to say, maybe they'll give us $100 million.
You never know. You can find us wherever you get any kind of podcast. So check out our website, darkpoutine.com, for show notes and other stuff. Give us a like or follow on Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Dark Poutine. Most importantly, thank you for listening and tell your friends about us. Word of mouth is a powerful thing. Until next week, don't forget to be a good egg and not a bad apple.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Guten Tag.
Hi, it's Shauna, and I might be a bad parent because my kids think French fries are vegetables.
Hey, it's Ryan, and I might be a bad parent because I went out for wings when my wife was in the hospital after giving birth.
Johnny here. I might be a bad parent because in my house, the tooth fairy gives pocket change.
But we're not alone. Len emailed us and said his 6-year-old daughter's Tarzan moment going from love seat to lazy boy by curtains made him more proud than any dance recital.
And Andy left his 2-year-old at the rink.
All right, guys, I'm sure we're not alone.
Like Andy's kid.
For stories and confessions like this, make sure you check out our podcast.
It's called Bad Parents, and it's available wherever you get your podcasts.
I left a glove at the rink.